power in your hands. With a stride where prophecies flow in the darkness, let my courage show. Oceans buried deep within, sands will swirl where life begins. Voices from the past will guide in the desert, nowhere to hide. Empires rise and empires fall. In the spice I hear them call. Through betrayal and through faith I will carve my path, embrace my fate. Sands of Arrakis, call my name. In your endless ways I'll stake my claim. Destiny's thread leads to timeless space. Among the shrines I now embrace. The shrines I now embrace. Among the grace. Oh, sands of Arrakis, call my name. In your endless ways I'll stake my claim. Destiny's thread weaves through time and space. Among the tribes I now embrace. Ocean beneath the sands, ancient power in your hands. With a stride where prophecies flow in the darkness, let my courage show. Oh, oceans buried deep within, sands will swirl where life begins. Voices from the past will guide in the desert, nowhere to hide. Unmoved beneath the sands, ancient power in your hands. With a stride where prophecies flow in the darkness, let my courage show. In the desert, nowhere to hide.
Ooh, right, all right, all right. We are back again tonight, guys. For a little more Dune action. We're not gonna go as long as last time. I'm a little tired. I got a few more little buttons set up on the Stream Deck tonight. But I haven't really set up anything where it does any cool video drops or something. That's what I'm trying to work on next. Nice. We got the usual suspects in here already.
Power shifts at your command. Golden eyes see futures bright. In the dunes we rise and fight. Ride the
Music's kind of loud.
hold on to the light. Call the banners of the brave. Sands of Arrakis will not cave.
I gotta turn that down. It's not even loud. That's the funny part. I have it like down set to like low. There, it's a little lower. Well, yeah, I can turn it down with that too. That's probably a little bit better. Anyways, man, what is going on out there? Still recovering a little bit from the my coughing, which is better today. Dude, it's crazy how much that cold or whatnot messed me up. Man, we covered a lot of Dune stuff last night, guys. I was looking for like stories to find, and I couldn't really find anything good. So Screen Rant had another one that came out, I think today. Yeah, an hour ago. And they're just talking about Dune Awakening. Basically, they're way behind the curve on this. Like, that's just funny right now, is with all these established kind of media groups are like now they're talking about Dune after all this time. I think they've been. I don't know if Screen Rant's even talked about Dune Awakening before. Maybe they have. So Franz or Frank Herbert's Dune universe have dreamed of stepping foot on Arrakis for decades. It's a planet of endless deserts, colossal wars, and fierce political intrigue. While the books and films have offered vivid depictions of the iconic world, video games have often struggled to capture the sheer scale of the desert planet of Arrakis. Dune Awakening is attempting to deliver not only the most expansive Dune game to date, but one that redefines the immersion in the Dune universe can look like, or what the immersion can look like. With its open world survival MMO structure, dynamic ecosystems, and complex political mechanics, Awakening has the potential to find or to finally give players the feeling of truly being on Arrakis. So this is all stuff we already know. So your Dune Awakenings, deep deserts are the closest we'll get to stepping foot on Arrakis. So that's what we're gonna see on the 28th, which is that's only in 4 days. So what day of the what's the day? What day of the week is that? Hmm. What day of the week is the 28th? Today is the 24th. Is that Tuesday or it's Tuesday, right? Hmm. I have this. The calendar doesn't. Oh, there's the calendar. Got it. Wednesday. My calendar wasn't popping up normally by default. Let's re-image this computer. The 28th, we're gonna get the. There's something I actually wanted to go look at actually. There was some news here I wanted to look at. Skills in schools, Imperium. I've already did a video on the Mentat. Maybe we'll watch this right now. Uh, their website acts weird sometimes. See, the pictures don't show up for a minute. Something I don't know if it's something with my internet, my routers. I don't know what, but for the reason they're doing Awakening, maybe I have some kind of ad blocker on or something. That might be it though. It could be the ad blocker maybe. All right, so they had a couple. Let's go back to the news real quick, guys. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place this night. So they had the Trooper beta weekend roundup. Okay, we did that. We didn't do the. Did we do the beta weekend roundup? I think we did do that. What the heck just happened? There. My thing trying to take over. Yeah, so I don't know if we actually did the beta weekend roundup. Let's read this real quick, guys. So they had the beta weekend roundup, which we didn't really. I don't think I think I got sick, and then I didn't do a video on it. Check out the beta weekend infographics, reaction, and message from the creative directors. So yeah, so this was like basically the stats I think of the beta weekend. We were in it. Some of us are in this stat somewhere. taking a quick little drink there. So yeah, so the how many beta players of Sand were consumed? Yeah, so this is funny, right? Yeah. So Greeting Sleepers, a great journey in Arrakis is soon upon us. For now, we'd like to briefly reflect on the beta weekend, which is extremely valuable for us ahead of launch. What we've learned has already led to various improvements and tweaks. Yeah, I think they've. Man, I'm dying here still. He, uh, a great. So as we've been digging into all your comments, thank you, and other data, we wanted to share some of the things you got up to on Arrakis. We confirmed spice was consumed and not in moderation. So Dune Awakening, the weekend beta stat deeds and deaths. In the recent beta weekend, Arrakis welcomed many of it into the blistering embrace. Here are some of the deeds they saw us perform, and some of the deaths. 25% area of Haga Basin explored. Really, there was a bunch of stuff that wasn't explored. Well, no, that's because it was blocked off. See, 107,959 swallowed by Shai-Hulud. Everyone did the worm. 214,919 vehicles crafted. You guys seen this? 9,980,575 575 scavengers killed. That's a lot. That is awesome. 56,994 new planetologists trained. So we had 1,086,763 controlled by the voice. 8,483,054 Shigawa claws fired. 1,779,935 Sentinel turrets deployed. That was me. That was me. Raf K, worm at least once. You mean? I wonder if that was multiple people getting eaten, because I got eaten by multiple times. That's hilarious. So 2,615,714 Swordmaster knee charges. Wow. 4,093 spice hallucinations experienced. So we have 151,749 liters of water consumed. 8,715,331 liters of blood harvested, and then 491,035 unique schematics learned. That's fun. You died 4 times, Raf K. In the $30 beta. Were you on the beta weekend? That beta weekend was super fun. Dude, we only have what, 12 days left? 12 days left till the game comes out. Oh, speaking of that, I need to check out my loot crit here real quick. I need to log into my loot crit. And I haven't logged in a minute. You guys can't see this. I'm trying to see the quest missions, maybe? Home. Creator Alpha. Let's see here. So let's go to members. Visit the program. I don't think it's started yet. Whoa, what was that about? This thing keeps messing up on me. I'm not seeing anybody on TikTok. Yeah, so I'm looking at on Wednesday. Okay, we already know about the 28th. Okay, so there's some stuff to May 20th. They had some stuff. Okay, I need to go check that out. Oh, that's for like cosplay. I don't do cosplay, so not a big deal. Not a big deal. I'm on the cosplay, so. All right, so let's continue on with this. This is funny. Oh, you were on it, your FK? You were on the beta weekend? Yeah, I have some good ambient Dune music playing now. Yeah, so we have 13,245 awoken minds, trial of a kill. 10,063 lost in the sandstorm bikes, which I had one of them, but I recovered it. I don't really lose vehicles that much. 65,473 with withered away in the sun. Yeah, dying from the sun doesn't really happen to me very much. We can watch this video from Joel.
Hi everybody. Today I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you on behalf of the Dune Awakening team for your participation in our weekend beta. It was very exciting to see people getting into the game.
People, look at this. Look, guys, look behind them. Full screen. Can I zoom in? I can zoom in. Look at this. Do you see this? Oh, crap. Oh, it's not working. Let's take it to YouTube maybe. I don't know if how do you zoom in on something on YouTube? You can't really do that. Anyway, I need some zooming kind of tool, I'm guessing. If you look back there in the back, you see my mouse is? See, dude, there's the card I gave him. That's the Lady Jessica card I gave him when I went to FunCom. They got it in display in the office. I'm famous. Not really, but I am. I gave him that card. I can carry that across the ocean to Norway. You can see this, the card sitting there where my mouse is. It's in the back. They put it on display there. That's awesome.
To take a moment to say thank you on behalf of the Dune Awakening team for your participation in our weekend beta. It was very exciting to see people getting into the game, playing, building their first bikes, and of course, getting eaten by Shai Halud. We're looking forward to you joining us in the full game on June the 10th, and we're excited to show you more in the coming weeks as we get closer to launch. Remember, it's not always about the friends we made along the way, it's about how many times we got eaten by the sandworm.
That's all there was, huh? That's funny, dude. That is funny. They got that dude, they got the card I gave him on I mean that's part of the video I made. I haven't finished it yet, guys. I'm still working on the Oslo video. I'm just trying to make it good, and I'm not like the best at making things funny as far as videos, but I'll try. I'll do what I can. Awesome. Is that the end of that news? Yeah, that was the end of that one. So let's go back. And we'll take a look at the trooper. So the trooper skills and schools of the Imperium Trooper. How long is this video? Oh, it's not long.
Forged in the crucible of war, House Troopers are the first, last, and often only line of defense in the Imperium. With rigorous routines and a life of survival and combat training, the House Trooper is always ready for action. Drilled in heavy firepower, long-ranged weapons, and combat technology, a trooper is an expert in finding new vantage points and forcing enemies out of cover through gravitational manipulation. Mastering these tactics will help you become an effective opponent against even the most heavily defended strongholds. At the heart of a trooper's abilities lies a perfected muscle memory for all kinds of weapons, increasing your accuracy and handling at long ranges. This perfected handling will also help you with increased agility while carrying more destructive options. You will also learn to master the Holtzman anti-gravity technology known as suspensors. Throwing your anti-gravity grenades will trap enemies within its field, leaving them an easy target. And when pinned down by close-range attackers, releasing the suspensor energy will blast away any nearby enemies. In order to navigate the battlefield quickly, your tactical technology includes the Shigawire Claw, a fast climbing cable enabling unprecedented vertical mobility. And when no other solutions are possible, use the modified Hunter Seeker for a high explosive option to defeat heavily fortified enemies. Throughout the dunes of Arrakis, any school can be trained and improved by masters. Advancing your combat skills is the key to surviving any battlefield. But knowing your enemy also grants you access to their abilities, opening up synergies that surpass even the most deadly House Trooper. Salute in honor of your house, and venture brave into the dunes of Arrakis.
That was a cool video. All right, so yeah, I covered a lot. That music's hot. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's the trooper. I covered it. I did some little breakdowns of this. I didn't do anything. It wasn't that cool, but the videos I did, but I did some videos on it. I broke them down during a live stream. And some of you guys probably remember that. No, what's the Mentat? Let's go read the Mentat. Let's go watch the Mentat one, guys. I don't hear anything. Weird. We got ourselves the Mentat. I'm sorry, I was distracted there for a second. Oh, we got Dirty Feet Crew 7. Yo. Did you see any beta of Hagar? No, I didn't see. Was that during the Did they go down to Hagar Rift on that when they had that thing, that event? No, you didn't miss anything here tonight. I just watched the couple videos of what Funcom's put out. I was sick for like a week, so I was just catching up from the beta weekend, and then covering some of the videos they put out about the Trooper, and we're about to watch the Mentat. There's a couple news articles out right now talking about Dune Awakening, and stuff like that. Yeah, shotgun after the beta, the beta weekend. I'm going Mentat with scattergun for sure. With the turret and force with the shield. That's just like, man, it's a brutal combo. We're gonna go ahead and show this right quick, guys. We'll show this one.
Developed out of the need to replace thinking machines, the Mentats, trained on the principles of philosopher Gilbertus Albans, became one of the most important people in the Imperium. Able to calculate immense sums.
Real quick, they just talked about Gilbertus Albans, and then his father, which was Erasmus, the thinking machine, right, is what I based House Erasmus is what our guild is. So he just mentioned this, the founder of the Mentats, his dad, which is not his real dad, but his really basically his adopted father, or whatever you want to call it, is the thinking machine, the evil scientist, mad machine, Erasmus. And that's why I came up with the term House Erasmus. And that's all in the out of those early books. So that's all based in the Butlerian Jihad books, and then the Sisterhood of Dune books and all that. That's where I got it from. But he kind of went out like a punk in Navigators of Dune at the end, which I was kind of angry about. But because Anna Carino was nuts because she got brain fried because she took the poison, the Rossack poison, when she wasn't trained and ready for it. She just took it and it messed her up, but she lived. And then but later on she had all the voices in her head, but she couldn't control any of it. And then kind of like what happened with, they kind of did a little bit of a thing on that on Dune Prophecy with that with I can't remember her name, but the girl they give the poison to. That was kind of a nod to the Anna Carino character. But anyways, she goes schwacky schwack, but she doesn't die. So they send her to the Mentat school under Gibraltar's Albans, and then come to find out, he has a little gel sphere still hiding in the closet, so to speak, of Erasmus. So that Erasmus starts sending all these little like nanoprobes and cameras and audio things around the school to kind of manipulate her, like those speakers and stuff. He manipulates her. Later on, the Ixian guys and stuff give him a human body, like a human body with the cyborg brain, and then she's like falls in love with him, but he's still a freaking thinking machine. And then, like right at the end of the book, when they're about to get overthrown, they're about to get invaded and taken over by the Imperium. She's all mad because he's trying to like solve these problems because they're about to get invaded, but then she's so emotionally jacked up from taking that poison and screwy that she takes it as rejection and walks out this airlock and kills herself in the poison gas in the atmosphere. And then right at the last minute, he's like, "Where'd she go?" I think I really did like her. He starts getting the motions at the last second, and he runs out to save her, and then he dies. And it's like, and then so he basically his gel sphere melts forever. I was hoping in Dune Prophecy that the thinking machine thing they were gonna find out was like basically they recovered his part of his gel sphere or something, and Erasmus is still out there somehow. That would have been kind of cool. Or they were gonna maybe we still got season 2. And there is thinking machines in there doing stuff still. Someone's using them. So maybe he's got like a memory core of Erasmus that whoever is manipulating the. I wonder if we're gonna come and find out that I doubt it's Vorian Atreides, because Vorian Atreides was hardcore against the machines. Vorian Atreides is still out there though in the show. I got sidetracked here. I know I did, but he changed. He did surgery on his face, and he disappeared in somewhere until he went to fly away at the end of Navigators of Dune, faked his death. So technically, he's still around out there in Dune Prophecy, the show. So he could technically come back. He's never been said he's been killed. So I'm hoping they're gonna he'll show up somehow. Maybe he's the one that's doing all the stuff. I don't think so, because he's the noble guy, but I don't know. It is TV show, so they can do whatever they want. I don't know who's going to be pulling the strings in that show. We'll probably find out. Here, keep playing this.
Amounts of data and devise complex strategies. They are the most advanced tacticians on the battlefield. Combined with advanced assassination and combat technology, you will be able to think many steps ahead of your enemies. With a significantly higher cognition, as a mentat, you can calculate trajectories and weapon handling to find weak points in an opponent's defense, or even guide the calculations of an external sentinel turret to assist you with extra firepower. Focusing on strategic control over raw strength, a mentat is an expert in assassination technology, using poison capsules to trap enemies in a cloud of death. Or when out of sight, send in a hunter-seeker before the enemy has even noticed your presence. For a tactical advantage, the mentats have devised further development of Imperial technology, such as the shield wall for extra protection. And to fool simple-minded enemies, a projection of yourself will confuse and scatter their focus. Throughout the dunes of Arrakis, any school can be trained and improved by masters, increasing your mental capacity and further advancing your tactical technology will let you hold the strategic advantage in any situation. But to reach the highest tactical operation, adopting other schools of thought will increase your mental complexity, opening up further possibilities. Focus your mind and calculate each step forward to find the optimal probability for your survival on Arrakis.
That's my jam. That's my jam. Hunter Seeker, yeah, I'm gonna get that. I need to get me that Hunter Seeker, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty cool stuff there. Oh, can you torrent. Turret be short. I think it can get it can get blown up. I've seen it getting blown up by grenades in the beta weekend. Hunter. Oh, just had an ad appear as soon as I logged in. Yeah, my videos are monetized. So you just gave me 5 cents, or how much ever they give me by watching those ads. Oh yeah. What was the ad? I don't. They pick it. I don't even know. Yeah, stream on the 28th. It's gonna be going back to Dirty Feet. They're gonna talk about. They're gonna show deep desert stuff. I think more advanced deep desert. Yep, yep, yep. Yes, yes, yes. Remember the Land Before Time? Yep, yep, yep. I watched that in the movie theaters when that came out. Land Before Time. What a depressing movie. Oh yeah. So yeah, let's see what we're gonna talk about. Dude, I kind of spent all my my news stories already. I didn't have a whole lot. Maybe we'll cover some other YouTubers' videos, react to them. We can watch Force Gaming. Hopefully, it doesn't pop me for copyright or anything.
Dune Awakening has come to a close, and I played a whole heck of a lot of the game. All told,
Go follow
in fact,
Force Gaming.
between
He's
the
got a good
preview
channel.
event last month and then this most recent beta weekend, I have now clocked around 100 hours in total with the game. I enjoy it, clearly, otherwise I wouldn't have played this much. Now, with that in mind, yes, the game sure does have a lot of issues, and those have just become more.
So I'll do some commentary over this. Yep. So there was glitches. I think I had a couple crashes. And things like that. But overall, I didn't have that many bad problems like some people had. So let's see what he says here.
Are more clear to me the more that I have played, and we will be going over those many of those today. But also, it still clearly does enough things that I enjoy, right, that have resulted in me playing somewhat obsessively, you could say. So, with all that said,
oh, and I'm subbed to him. So everyone go sub to. He's got 1 million. Dude, this guy's freaking baller. So he's got 1 million subs. He's got a good gaming channel.
Here's the whole shebang, all my thoughts on Dune Awakening after over 100 hours of playing. I really like this. Game's got a lot of problems. It has a lot of problems. There's a lot of bugs. It's really glitchy. It's really janky.
We should watch that.
Parts. Like,
we should watch that. I'll go cover that summit. I'm gonna watch that summit video. Summit 1G. I watched him back in the day during his Sea of Thieves stuff.
Combat in particular is pretty atrocious. I actually don't think the shooting's that bad. Like, as I've continued to play more and more, I do feel like the shooting is good and responsive. As good and responsive as like an open semi-MMO shared world game is, because there's always some latency issue with shooting. That's why there's so few. Here's the thing. These games, this genre, this combination of genres just doesn't get made. People don't make these. Open world, shared, like MMO light. I know they're not calling it an MMO, and there's only 40 people, but it's an open world where you're gonna see other players running around, fully open, 0 loading screens. You're just moving through the entire thing, and it's freaking massive. So anyways, the point is that it's this combinations of elements that
It is pretty impressive when you think about it, guys. What they've done, even with the glitches they still kind of have. Like, we have not... Have you really seen a game like this? We haven't seen anything game this big, this scope. I don't remember... Is there any multiplayer games like this? With building, you know what I'm saying? With bases, and other than, like... Ark, or... Rust to me never really seemed streamlined, but those are hardcore griefing games though. Ark, and this is like gonna have a whole separate PvP zone, the deep desert, with all this, and I don't know. It feels very unique to me so far of what they've done here, and they've made it playable where like your tutorial actually teaches you how to play the game. I don't know. That's just my personal. I think it seems very unique so far, in a weird way.
I really like, but nobody makes them. Like, the last time I played a game that was like this was probably like The Division. And it's I just wish more of these got made. Even with all of its flaws, there's a lot of stuff I actually really like about this game. Like, it's so freaking, I love the world immersion. And this isn't like a Dune obsession, because I don't really give a shit. Like, I never read the books, and I can read, so it's not for lack of capability. I just never read the books, don't really care about the lore. I skip all the cutscenes, like that's how little of a shit I give about Dune as a franchise. I watched the movie, and it was good. It was a good movie, but I'm not like obsessed with it. I'm like, oh my.
Boo! He doesn't like Dune. Most of these big gamer streamers don't know jack about Dune. That's the frustrating part. How many of those really big streamers did they know anything about Dune? Like, none of them. None of the ones I've seen. The Dune Awakening streamers.
God, Dune, I better get my cosplay going. Anyways, the point is that they just, like, the world that they've built here, like, layered on top of, yes, the Dune IP, like, that is obviously, like, that is thoroughly in here from what I gather, like, from what little I know from seeing the one movie. But it's just like, it's such an immersive space, and so I really enjoyed it. The point of that whole excursion there is that I've really enjoyed being immersed in this world in spite of all of its flaws. Like, I wish the combat was better. I wish it was less buggy. I wish it was less janky. But the combat is good enough, and the world immersion and exploration and just being in this space is so thoroughly enjoyable to me that I'm pumped for launch and to play with my friends. I think this is gonna be a lot. Every game is more fun with friends, but I think this game in particular, with like a group of friends that I'm planning on playing with, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think we're gonna have a really good time. I think there'll be a lot of fun moments. Even if
the cool thing about this game, Raf K, let's see here. I suggest that you watch Lyric stream playing the beta event. He went to the Rift. It's huge. Carbon. You have to check it out. Maybe we'll watch that next. I can't say too much about the Haga Rift, if you catch my drift. The Rift Drift.
If this game were worse than it is, okay, so just like assume things were even worse than they were, there are still so few games like this made that I would still probably want to play it. Open, shared world where you're seeing other people, fully seamless, very immersive as a result of that lack of seams. They just don't, these games don't get made. Nobody makes these games. And I think it's for good reason. I think it's because it's hard. It's hard to do well. It's hard to do even not so well. This game's getting like absolutely lambasted, and I think for a lot of very good reasons. Like, I think most of the complaints I've seen are actually very justified. People are very animated about some of the issues that the game has, which I get it, you know. But yeah, man, like, it's got a lot of issues, but it does enough right that I really enjoy, and it's in a genre that I wish more games got made in this genre, but they just don't. The scale of good to bad, I like enough that it tilts the scales in the, yes, I like this game. I'll say it once again, it is with the caveat that it's got a lot of issues. I acknowledge those issues, and I agree with those issues, but I still like it enough, and I'm just having fun, dude. I don't know what the fuck else to say. Like, I'm having a really fun time, even though it's janky as shit. I still really find myself in.
That's like playing EVE Online. EVE Online's real janky and pay to win and all that, right, guys? And that game is just a freaking disaster in a weird way, but it's so old and ancient, but it's like still fun, right? So hopefully, you know, I was a big EVE Online player. Yeah, Kato, I'm gonna do some PvP eventually. Maybe we'll do some excursions. The good thing about this game is that the people that don't want to do PvP, they don't really have to, and you can still play the whole game. And then, so we could have people. So if you have people in your guild that wanted to stay back and support the main base while we go off and try to do the raids, you know what I'm saying? they can be the rear support while we're off doing other things. It's gonna be kind of cool, right?
Enjoying it. So now, despite the fact that I do like this game overall, like I said, there are a lot of issues. So let's begin by addressing some of those. For starters, there's one of the biggest ones that stick out the most, and that is the combat. Combat any better? It seems clunky still. I mean, it's not changed dramatically since the last time it's not changed dramatically, and I doubt it will change dramatically. The combat's biggest issue is definitely the melee. That's the worst part about it. I think the shooting feels fine, like serviceable fine. Not the best shooting in the world, but also third-person shooters rarely do have the best feeling, like comparatively anyways, like compared to first-person shooters, like third-person always tends to feel a little more floaty. But I think it feels fine in this game. Like there's some decent sounds associated with it, so that gives it a little bit of feedback. But yeah, the melee's pretty rough. The melee is not great. I think part of the reason is them trying to do this whole heavy attacks are replaced with slow attacks because that's how you bypass shields in the Dune universe. So I like get that thematically that's what they went with, but it's also like a slow attack doesn't really feel oomphy because it's not oomphy. It's a slow attack. It's slow, like I don't know, yeah, but
Okay, so my opinion on that is, I guess there's people complaining about the slow shield attack. If they didn't put that in there, the game would be totally, like, basically shunned by Dune fans. So this is where it's coming from a guy who absolutely knows nothing about Dune. He's a big gamer, streamer, but he knows crap about the lore. Like, that'd be like saying, like, somebody who's playing a Star Wars game that's never watched any of the movies or books and was like, these lightsabers are stupid. Well, they need to get rid of them. Right? So it's like that. So it's like, when somebody tells me, like, I don't like the slow shield attack, I literally, that goes to my mind and it goes in one ear out the other. I literally don't care about that complaint. Coming from a person like me. You literally don't. And the problem I have is I have to disconnect myself sometimes from game person to Dune person, because especially with this game, because these guys are like more smart on games mechanics than I am. So I get it. But then I'm kind of like, they don't like his example right there was the slow shield attack that gets to the shield. They don't like it because it's not like powerful enough. And I'm like, you don't get it in Dune. That is the power attack, which he admitted in the beginning of the video. He knows absolutely nothing. He cares nothing about the Dune lore. He thought there was only one Dune movie of the new ones. So, like, I'm telling you, these people that are the hardcore gamers, streamers, most of them don't know junk about Dune. So they're complaining about things that are supposed to be in the universe. Now, there's going to be other glitches and things like crashes and stuff that are probably. We'll see what else he's going to say. Which I like this guy. I follow him. I watch all his videos. He has good game videos. Yeah, see, that is some of the complaint was like this. You have a basic attack, and the limited number type of combos is kind of a thing. I guess that could be kind of annoying. Oh, nice. Tanit, new follower. Ooh, new follower on Twitch. If you're new to the channel, I feel that's like what I kind of bring to this space of the Dune Awakening, and as far as streaming the game, is that coming from a Dune, I am a Dune dedicated channel, so I'm a Dune lore guy, expanded universe, and the main books. Like, I bring that kind of element to this game, as opposed to these big time Twitch streamers. Most of these folks don't even know jack about Dune, so I'm sure some of them do. I don't know. I have no idea. None of the ones I saw did. So of the big ones, they don't know anything. So that's why I like going into this game knowing like, oh, I know way more about this universe than these people do. It's kind of fun. Oh, that's you, Raf K.
Yeah, melee combat's pretty rough. Not great. Do you agree that it looks clunkier than it feels? No, I would say that the melee. I don't think it's not that the melee feels clunky necessarily. It just doesn't feel impactful. The soft lock on that the game does, like your character will auto face a melee target for like this blocking parry thing. That's a little weird. I think they would actually go a long way if they had a hard lock on, like a toggle. Like if you hit middle mouse button, you could dead center lock, like, you know.
I thought that at first too, but then I didn't like. I thought about, and then I didn't. I don't like that idea. I feel like a lock-on camera. It feel cheaper in the world.
Like action games, like Souls games, I think that would actually help it feel a little better, or at least it would feel less loose and floaty. Like it would feel like you would have more control. Because yeah, there is like a magnetism when you're in melee, when you're engaged with an enemy in melee. There's like a magnetism to you and the person facing you. And it's also weird because of how they have the whole parry system. Like you saw, like me and that guy were standing next to each other for like 3 or 4 seconds, and he was just looking at me and not doing anything. But that's because they're trying to allow you to parry so you can do the whole bypass shield thing. But it looks dumb. Like, like we're both just standing there. I'm facing the opposite direction. He's just standing next to me with a knife, and he's not doing.
So that is true. Some of the way the AI will not attack you or even look at you right away. That is an issue that I totally agree with him on. I did notice that sometimes the AI doesn't really react very well. But I assume they're gonna fix that over time. Or maybe just in the early starting areas, they're just a little easier. But the thing is, when the PvE AI get in larger numbers, you get pretty screwed. They can gang up on you quick.
Doing anything for 4 seconds. Like it looks bad. It looks bad. Hopefully they'll have to think about what they can do with combat. You know, and they've said that they're like working on improvements. I don't know to what degree and how much of a difference it's really going to make. You know, we're a month out from launch. The game was, I think, supposed to launch this month originally, and then they pushed it back slightly. So we'll see how much of a difference that makes. What it's probably not going to make a huge difference. I have felt like combat has felt a little more responsive since the initial test. Like I played an early preview build some time ago, a month or so ago, and then this beta, it's felt a little tighter, like a little more fine-tuned than it was back then. Still not great, but a little better. So if they can keep moving in that direction, I think that's good. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. In fact, you know, over the weekend, I think we got like a shining example of one of the many issues with the combat system. The fact that it took a group of streamers at an event that was like promoted by Funcom, it took them no less than a few minutes of PvPing in this game for the very first time to find some major mechanical balance flaws. It's absolutely freaking hilarious, by the way. I mean, I feel bad for them, right, at the same time, but I don't know if any of you saw, they had that showcase with a bunch of streamers the other day, and they paid, this was a sponsored showcase, so they paid these guys money to play the game, and like, the whole point was like, hey, we're gonna show you PvP, and it all devolved within like 15 minutes. I think it was even faster. I think it was almost immediately. You know, it's like Shroud and Summit and a bunch of other people. Within a very short period of time, everyone realized if they just kept spamming melee attacks, it was perma-stunning their targets. They were not running out of stamina themselves. Their targets were staying permanently drained, and so the PvP was just this. Like, this was it. And unless a third party came and interrupted the person doing this slashing...
So I think that was a glitch, because you do lose stamina. When I used to... Oh, Fab Raptor. Yeah, especially those guys. Yeah, the heavy gun guys really get you. And more than one of those guys is scary. Yeah, definitely. When you get 2 or 3 of those guys. Yeah, the dodge, I use that all the time. Yeah. No, I think there was something going on with that creator. They had a different build. They were playing some different server than what we were playing on, because they had more of the map. Like those, they had an event. They had that event where all the big streamers are on, and like he's saying, their stamina wasn't going down when they were fighting, but it's supposed to. Like that stamina, that's the actual check and balance on that melee attacking. Because I've when I was playing during the I could have sworn I had stamina going down when we played. I don't remember. I could have sworn. I'm assuming they're gonna fix that issue. They're gonna add that stamina decay. So yeah, yeah. So hey, Fabby Raptor, yeah, I'm changing that. I didn't mess with it, but I'm changing that hotkey for sure. That dodge, I'm gonna either put it to my mouse or something else. Yeah, that alt is horrible. That is horrible, and it's right next to your Windows key. So I basically, like, I need to like set it up where I can't like deactivate that left side Windows key on my keyboard or something.
The target of said slashing was just completely fucked. They couldn't do anything. They just sat there, kept getting staggered. And this was supposed to be their big event where they're like, hey guys, check out our PvP. And it just looked like a total mess. They had addressed it too, like while this was all happening. They said, hey guys, look, we know this is a problem. We have it, it's already fixed in a current build. This build's a little older, which, you know, that is always technically true because they get build version updates constantly, daily as far as I'm aware. Maybe not that quite that frequently, but there are constantly build updates happening when a game is in development progress. And they always ever push out the playable build is the one that's the currently most stable version. So I believe them that there's a more updated version because that's just how kind of things work in game development. Like I don't doubt that that's the fact. But what I'm so perplexed by is we know that they are doing internal testing for this game. Okay, like there has been an ongoing closed test where they have full reign of the game in its current state, and they also have the end game and they're testing the PvP. How at no point did anyone realize and express in that testing? I would understand if this was some strange interaction, if it was a combination of like a skill tree talent and gear and then some particular circumstances that resulted in a permastun. But the fact that the permastun came by simply spamming basic attack with a dagger, basic attack spam, like, I don't understand. I don't understand how that did not surface and get addressed prior to that event. And, you know, even assuming that they addressed this issue correctly in time prior to launch, and I will assume that they will. Even with that in mind, I still think that the endgame PvP may very likely just evolve into the typical scenario that you see in these kind of games. I mean, if we're being perfectly honest, the Deep Desert is apparently going to be hundreds, upwards of a couple of thousand people. PvP will be a numbers game, like it almost always is in these games. The people who have, if you have 10 players and you're up against a group of 20 players, unless they have their monitors turned off, you're likely to lose. I mean, it's still a shooting game, right? So, like, getting headshots, you can certainly outplay people, no questions, but if the number disparity becomes large enough, it becomes unwinnable. I'll be curious to see how it goes, but also, because it's a shooting game, there's gonna be a lot more high a probability that more people means performance is worse. There's more server issues, the more people in a space. And so
I think that it is going to be interesting to see what happens in the Deep Desert, guys. Oh, they're putting ads they're putting ads in my videos. But I think the PvP event was dumb, but his only complaint about the bug is that already fixed in yeah. Um, Dagger Actual. That sounds like a military name. Yeah, that's what I think Tenet. I think they're making a bigger deal out of it than but, you know, people are hyper Really, it all really started with I don't know, maybe when did all this hyper gaming criticisms started? I remember it really kicking up a level when they released Cyberpunk. Remember when Cyberpunk came out and it was like a big mess, which I never saw that mess of it, but apparently on the PS4 and all that. But then I was like, I had it on a computer and I had it on PS5 and I really didn't have any issues. But I just remember that being super controversial. And PlayStation pulled the game off the store and everything for Cyberpunk. I just remember that's when like that point in time when games really started getting more scrutinized more than ever. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, but you gotta understand the people they put in that special event beta, they're all PvP people. They're all PvP tucking on like ganking, griefing people. So it's like that's really what they're gonna care about. Isn't I can't grief people. Um, if I can't grief you, why do I want to play this game? That's the people that were all really complaining about it. That type of person. So that's like me. I am the one getting griefed. So I don't care. I'll be the one that is getting bullied in the game. So that's funny.
So maybe it doesn't matter how good at shooting you are, if you have all sorts of if you got like 200 fucking ms or 300 ms latency, if they're having a bunch of server issues that make response time super long, the numbers will win again, and it doesn't matter how good your headshots are. Like, we'll just see. That's how it usually pans out. Maybe it doesn't pan out that way this time. And I'd like to add here as well, while we're on the topic of PvP, that I do really wish they structured the PvP experiences prior to endgame a bit differently than what they decided to implement, because as it is right now, I can tell you from my experience of playing for over 100 hours, I just feel like most people just won't encounter PvP at all prior to getting to the end game. So it's going to be predominant for most people. I really think it's going to be predominantly a PvE game for the first 150 to 100 hours. Maybe you get in a couple of PvP encounters, but that's a big
So I think that's on by design because they don't. I think it's pretty clear now that. I think it's pretty clear now that games that devolve to it's all griefing, they always run out. I'm looking up something real quick. Right here. So PvP focused games with excessive griefing can struggle to maintain a healthy player base, but they don't always die completely. Griefing, where players deliberately disrupt other experiences, can drive away casual and new players, leading to a decline in the game's popularity. See what I'm saying? That's what they're trying to prevent is the griefing aspect of this. And Funcom's really trying to weave this delicate balance of like, yeah, we're gonna have PvP and you can go in and raid people, do all this stuff, but they're trying not to like they're trying to let people that just want to play the experience of it that aren't necessarily great at PvP, they want them to keep playing the game. Which is why your base and Haga Basin is not going to really be rated, all kind of thing like that. I personally, to me, this is like more my level of gaming, since I'm not like a hardcore, I've tried PvP, like yeah, I've tried to do the PvP thing and like Sea of Thieves, and of course I've had successful things where I raided people. I even had success in Arc raiding, but then you get wiped out after like building a base for like, imagine building an entire. Well, this has happened to me. You spent 3 months building an entire base infrastructure in Arc, and then you come home from work one day and you log in and you're dead and your whole base is wiped out. You're just like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what makes you not play the game anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why I don't really play Arc anymore. I put all that time into it, and you just get totally decimated. That's what I think Funcom is really basically trying to do, is make a good balance of that, so people don't just disappear off the game because, hey, if I make a base and then the next day it's wiped out, you know what I'm saying? That's just my little take on that. I don't know. Yeah, I had played Last Oasis for a little bit, and then I basically just kind of, it was too much work, that game, to me. Yeah, so but the thing is, if you go to the deep desert, boom, you got full PvP all day, all night. So it's gonna have both. So it's gonna have all that. And the thing is, they kind of push you to that because the better loot is gonna be in the deep desert. The better loot's out there, so it is gonna kind of entice you to go out there to do PvP. I think once this game gets a good little couple months in, I think the people are gonna, now, to me, the combat is, I guess they can fix that, but that's not my problem. Crashing, big glitches is what they need to fix, to me, my personal opinion. The big glitches, server crashes, whatever. The graphical big things, people floating with their arms out and stuff, like the big graphical, big server level glitches. That's really what they need to be fixing right now. And then once the game goes, then they can fine tune the combat. Fine by me, but like they shouldn't. I don't care too much about that right now. I want the game to run. That's my big thing.
Maybe, and then they get to endgame and all of a sudden it flips and the game is entirely PvP. I really wish they had found a better way to present it. Here's why. Yeah, no, so, and you not experiencing PvP, that's another, like, gripe of mine, or just something that I wish were a little different. Because right now the PvP is exclusive to the shipwrecks, and there's one, I haven't revealed the map on this character yet, but there's one down here, and then there's two in the western and eastern Vermilius Gap, and it's exclusive to those areas prior to the deep desert, which is supposedly going to take somewhere between 50 and 100 hours before players can get to. Prior to that, you're only ever going to see PvP in these very confined areas, those shipwrecks. And so I think the result of that is probably you're just almost never going to see PvP. And I say that because we are currently playing in 3 of a total of 12 zones that are in Haga Basin, and that entire play space has a rough cap, they've said, of 40 people. Now, as is, even when everybody on the server is confined currently to just these 3 zones, as is, I've played like 100 hours and I've gone into shipwrecks probably over 100 times total. I've seen a person maybe twice. Like, it's just been a very rare occurrence. That has me wondering, man, once the game is fully unlocked and all 40 people on a server, you're never going to see anybody in a shipwreck. You're barely going to see anybody in the PvE. The point of that is, though, I feel like PvP is just never going to happen for most people prior to arriving in the deep desert, where then it becomes like PvP is mostly what you're doing. And I think that's kind of a shame. Like, I think, honestly, forget the shipwreck shit. What I probably would have liked is, so if we have like 12 zones in total, I would wish they almost did something like they did with the original Division, where you just have a zone or 2 that's just full PvP in those areas. If you want a PvP, you can go there. If you don't want a PvP, you can avoid it. But having it confined to the shipwrecks with how spread out everything already is, it just seems like PvP is just not going to happen for a lot of people. I don't know if during this test, if they actually have the 40 player cap in place, or because it was restricted to 3 zones, if they reduced that cap to like 15 people or something, some smaller number, so that 40 people weren't all crowded in these first 3 zones. I actually think there's a fair chance that is the case. Like, even during peak times, I very rarely see people. And I would like to see people more. It doesn't need to be 100 people on screen. I'm not married to that idea. You know, they stopped calling it MMO partially for that reason, like player count stuff. I'd love to see more than like a player every 2 hours, which is how it's been. And I've played at all times. Like, I basically played nonstop. All right, next we've got the IP that this game is structured around. This is a Dune game, and that is both a pro in a lot of ways.
Uh-oh, I don't think I'm gonna like what he's about to say here. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna like this.
But it's also a con in some of the limitations that it's going to present for this game. Honestly, probably one of my larger long-term concerns for this game is how strictly they're going to feel the need and or be required to stick to the Dune, like, lore accurate shit. Because I think even just in enemy variety, that could be a major thing that kind of holds the game back a little bit. And maybe that's just part of the reason that the end game is like entirely focused right now. There's no raids, right? It's all PvP. Like, once you're done the survival crafting progression and you get to the current cap of the last tier of gear and whatever, you're PvPing. You're not like doing raids. You're not fighting giant monsters because it's Dune. Maybe eventually, I'm sure it's going to happen at some point, there will be a fight against a sandworm boss, but it's not happening yet. And yeah, they're pretty limited because it's Dune. They're pretty limited in like what it is you're fighting. So maybe for that reason, it will never really be more than just a PvP focused game at the end. Because what else can they do? They can't, like, they're not monsters or some shit or robots that they're going to have you be fighting. I will say though, I think that probably...
So they could have you go against revealed thinking machines or something, or Cymex or something, even though that's not really around anymore. Worm you can't fight. The sandworm kills you every time, but you never know. They could add some sort of they could add, if they really wanted to push the limits on the lore, they could have you fight some kind of unearthed thinking machine boss or something like that. Which I know that's far-fetched in this time frame, but I mean, if they wanted to, they could do that. I wouldn't be mad about that, because there is relics and stuff out there on Dune still that they don't really ever uncover. Because there was all kinds of stuff going on Dune for all those years, for 10,000 years, and plus before that. So Cymex were on there, all kinds of stuff.
one of the
You could fight some kind of big mercenary crew or something.
biggest issues they're gonna run into is being associated with the Dune IP and whatever parameters they have to stick within because of that. I think that's gonna, I mean, it's gonna limit things, right? So it's gonna limit like their biome diversity, enemy diversity. Like we're always fighting humanoids, right? And I think we're always going to be fighting humanoids. I don't think we will ever not be fighting humanoids, barring maybe we get like a raid against a sandworm one day. It's only gonna get so diverse in terms of the types of enemies and the types of encounters you'll see. Maybe with machinery and some Bene Gesserit bullshit, you know, because it's kind of like magic. Maybe they can pull in some more interesting stuff with those elements. Although, you know, I played and really liked The Division, and all I ever fought was humanoids and some, like, tanks or some bullshit. So maybe it doesn't matter that much. Now, as for the technical side of this game, I will say that, like, performance has been mostly fine, barring a few occasional server hiccups that have happened here and there. Really, the big technical issue are the bugs and the glitches. There are still a lot of them, and we're still seeing them on a regular basis. All you really need is the Shikawari kit. I mean, all you really need is climbing. All this is like, what the hell? What is happening, dude? I don't know why on this final day it's been like extra janky. All of a sudden, it's had some weird server issues. Maybe because they're letting more people in? Not a great sign. There were bugs that were present prior that I've not experienced since coming back. That is accurate. I've also seen other bugs that I didn't see before that are now here. So the game is still buggy. I would anticipate it will remain buggy. That it's something that hopefully they continue to work on over time, but I don't expect it to ever be bug-free. And so for all of these reasons and more, I think there's a really good chance that the reception to this game when it comes out in a couple of weeks probably isn't going to be representative of how much I personally enjoy it. Let's just put it that way. Seems like a lot of people really didn't like it, like just from impressions that I've been seeing online, and I'm not terribly surprised. I think there will be people who really enjoy it, like me, for the reasons and whatever other reasons that I enjoy it. But I think there are also going to similarly, probably an equal number of people who think it's like garbage, like total trash garbage, and they'll have a list of reasons, and those reasons will all be accurate and justifiable, because I agree with a lot of the flaws that the game has that people point out. I think really the biggest thing is just it serves a type of game experience that is very rare. Those open world, shared PvP, full open world, no loading screens, looter shooter, like there's very, very, very few of these kinds of games, and I really like them. I wish more got made. Right? If memory serves, I'm pretty certain initially their plan was to release an early access, but then they opted out of it. I'm pretty sure that it was originally supposed to be early access though. So maybe if the franchise saw like they didn't like the typical association with early access games. But I don't know if that's like, if your game's unfinished, you should just do early access.
Yeah, I don't know much about the early access. That Oh, this game is echoing, isn't it?
Like, I don't know if it's better. I don't know if it's a better solution to try to ditch the stigma of early access, but then launch your game having it still feel like it's early access. All right, now with all of that in mind, with all of that said, all of those cons thoroughly discussed, I still enjoy the game. I still really had a fun time. I played for 100 hours, and I'm still very much so excited and looking forward to launch. So why is that? Well, I think one of the first things I want to talk about is the fact that even though melee combat is lackluster and the shooting is just like average, I would say it's decent, I will say that as you progress and as you start to unlock things, more weapons, different weapons, additional movement skills, and different offensive skills, active abilities, the overall combat flow goes from feeling like really weak to actually being quite enjoyable. Here's what I mean. There's normally people down here unless another player's cleared it. No, it doesn't look like it. Anyone else? Just this guy? Yeah, so like that little segment there, that little process of coming in and clearing out these 5 or 6 enemies, that is the part of the combat that I really enjoy. Like when you get in these engagements and you're using multiple tools and you're positioning, your line of sighting their attacks and kind of hobbling around and throwing a grenade, or in my case the seeker missile, like that shit is fun. It's just like the whole one-on-one melee combat that's pretty janky. Like that's what most people are complaining about, and I think rightfully so, because yeah, the game starts you out with just that, and it kind of feels kind of lame. But it gets a lot better, and then you add in like the movement with you once you get the Shigawari cable plus the suspensor belt, and you can kind of be zipping around levels and shit on top of all that. There are points in which,
Man, watching him play, I want to play it. Now I want to play. We only have to wait 12 more days. It was like what a tease. What a tease the open beta was, or the weekend.
the combat starts to click a bit more, but it just starts out like abysmally slow, and that plus the fact that the combat has like zero impact to it. Yeah, I mean, also in the pros, sort of similar to the combat conversation, is the movement. Like after the first few hours, once you progress and unlock more things, the movement goes from feeling kind of crappy to all of a sudden feeling pretty good. It flips on its head. All of a sudden, the movement in this game, all it takes is the Shigawari cable and a suspensor belt, and then all of a sudden this game has like amazing movement. It's so funny because I think most people who probably played the beta weekend never got to this point. I feel like they should give this to you within the first hour. I feel like they should present you with this setup because moving around the environment becomes so much more enjoyable and interesting once you have these two. And the game uses momentum as well. So if you get a really good, if you get like a big speed boost and get a lot of momentum going, you can just go fucking flying. Like you can soar. It's absolutely ridiculous at times. It's really fun. The movement in this game goes from feeling like shit to feeling awesome once you get this. And over the course of all of this time that I've spent playing the game, one memory keeps cropping up for me, and that is my time and experience with The Division. There are elements of playing this.
Oh, Fabby Raptor, you're going to be busy. You're going to be, God forbid it takes 10 hours to unlock something. You have a new commitment on Thursday nights. That's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Thursday nights will end up being every other Thursday night will probably be a big streaming night for me.
Game that really remind me of that experience, about the parts of that game that I really liked. It reminds me a lot, the experience of playing it, not necessarily the exact elements of the game, but the totality of the experience of playing it reminds me a lot of what I enjoyed about The Division, the first game. There's a chance if you liked that game that there are elements of this that you would also like similarly. And specifically I'm talking like it's a third-person shooter at its core. It's a looter shooter in a lot of ways. It's got those light MMO elements where you will see other players running around, but then they also have the level of survival mechanics on top, crafting and building bases and shit, which is cool. And actually it's funny because I was thinking about this as well because I kept drawing the Division comparison, and then I was like, well, how is melee in Division? It fucking didn't exist, dude. You like elbowed people. Like the melee in Division was dog shit. It's literally just like you have your gun and then you just elbow people. Like that's the extent of it. But you know, despite my love for Division, I know it's not like the biggest franchise, so I certainly didn't click with everybody, but I fucking loved it. And one of the things that this game definitely does the best, like with
Division 2 is pretty cool. I like Division 2. I played that quite a bit. But there's no vehicles really, right? You just always walk around everywhere. So this is better. This game's I have way more fun with. And that was just the beta, you know what I'm saying?
without question,
Can you imagine when we actually get all the vehicles and ornithopters and everything going? Oh my god. Yeah, you can join us, Tanny. We're gonna be a very chill guild, and if you just want to join the guild, but you can also just do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? You could join our guild if you follow our Discord. We'll be low key. Yeah, you can just. It won't be any. I don't have no requirements for people to be in the guild other than just being a regular person. Yeah, Dagger Actual. I think he makes a good point here, though. People are complaining about Melee, but Melee is comparable games. Yeah. Can't wait for Ornithopter. Yeah, we got to get those Ornithopters, Fabby Raptor. We're gonna be. I'm gonna go in unlocked as a Mentat, unlocked on the skill tree. I'm not doing that locked. Like, remember you guys are locked. I'm not doing that. And then I'm gonna probably just rush the first 4 or 5 trials, and we gotta get to these buggies, and we gotta get to these Ornithopters. I wanna get them.
and I cannot knock them at all for this. It is the world building and the immersion, building upon that Dune IP, which I personally have no pre-existing love for, but how they presented this world and the structures and the things that they've done within it, it's just so immersive. I love spending time in this game. Atmosphere's through the roof. Like, it's super atmospheric, especially at night. You got those ships coming by. You got the fucking sandworm like chasing people, erupting from the dunes. As things progress, you start to see crashing ships falling from the sky, and you can go to those ships and harvest them for some high-end resources. I can't say enough about how having one seamless world that without loading screens or hidden loading screens, however the game technically does it, I can't say enough for what a difference that makes into the immersiveness of the experience. Even the fact that this game doesn't have fast travel is a selling point for me, because it makes the world more immersive. Like, you actually have to traverse the landscape, and that's a balancing act that developers have to make if they choose to go that route in their game design. But if done right, I think it adds so much to the experience. If done wrong, it feels like a massive chore, and that's also subjective. So for some people it'll be a massive chore, some people will love it. Yeah, when it's done right, it's like a huge selling point for me in games, especially like looter games like this with like other people. Like, it just, oh man, it's great. I love it. Nailed the atmosphere. Oh my god, yeah. It's like 50% of the reason I enjoy this game is because the atmosphere. It's so good. It's so fun to go around. And would it be great if combat was better and there was less jank? Of course, because the range combat is good enough for a third-person shooter, and they nailed the atmosphere, and I like going around doing the survival and or looter shooter aspects of this game. It's sufficient for me. Like, I'm really enjoying it. And as I mentioned earlier, on average, the performance has been mostly good for me. Like, how it runs on my system has been good. Looks like it's running well on your PC. Yeah, I don't really have any systems and events that can occur. Just some of the cool and oftentimes hilarious moments that crop up while you're playing the game. Here's a great example. You usually want to pick the shortest point in traveling the dunes, and I just did this diagonal path across this huge swath. That would have been better to like go across there and then run beeline. I'm really afraid what's gonna happen is this fucking ship is gonna lock me down, and then I'm gonna draw the fucking sandworm. Like, I'm just praying to God That they don't have some algorithm here that says, okay, well, if there's a person running within whatever diameter of this ship, get that spotlight to that. I mean, we're moving in the same fucking direction too. I'm completely doomed, I think. Can't you just shuffle? That's not a thing in this game. I'm guessing they tried to make it work, but then look at it. Here it is. I fucking did it. And there's the fucking worm. God damn it, dude. Unbelievable. I knew this was gonna happen. Please, for the love of God. Okay, I'm good. So, the good... my fucking God, dude. And then lastly, in the pros category, and probably most important...
He almost got nabbed there, dude, by the freaking stasis bubble. That's funny.
Importantly of all, it's just the fact that I just have a plain old good time. When I play this game, I am having fun. Plain and simple. And that's one of the other things too, is like some people, like you'll get comments like, this game is bad for this, and this reason. And like, I can see that list and I can acknowledge that list and I can agree with that list. Not even just like tacitly say like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, I get it. I can be like, no, yeah, that's right. So then why are you playing it? I have fun while I'm playing it. But what about this bullet point list? I mean, yeah, that's all true. Yeah, that thing and that thing. Yeah, no, that's all right. But I still have fun playing it. Well, what the fuck?
I played Ark for like years. Ark is full of bugs. The original Ark was full of bugs. All kinds of bugs and crazy jank. But you loved it because it was a good, fun game. So maybe it's this, and this game has a lot less bugs than Ark did. Ark was really janky. So, and then like some of the jankiness and like Rust and all those games. Yeah, so you can, as long as the game is really super fun, you can have some issues with it.
And it's like, I don't know, dude. I think sometimes like the sight gets lost that we're playing video games. Its whole point for existing is to bring us entertainment. And so if it delivers that, like if I'm having a good time, I'm having a good time. Point, end of period. like end of sentence, whatever. All right, so with all of that said, is it worth it? What do I think about this game to put a bow on the whole thing? Is it worth the $50 content-wise or too early to tell? I mean, I can't really tell you because we've only had access to the first 3 zones. It also, like, some people it doesn't matter. Like, they hated the first zone. They're not interested in what the second, third, fourth, all the way up to the 12th zone have, let alone the deep desert. I enjoy spending time in this game and going around and clearing points of interest, and I like playing. I like exploring. It's been fun. Do you like survival games? Are you okay with the game being janky and buggy, or does it need to be free of any flaws in that respect? If so, you're striking out here because this game has lots of bugs, pretty janky. Melee combat's pretty bad. Shooting is fine. It's good enough that I enjoy it, you know, that I enjoy playing it. Yeah, do you like survival games? Do you like that loop? Because that's what this is. Like, if you're hoping for like a narrative adventure, like there is some narrative, but it's far from the focus and really takes a backseat to just like being a straight up survival game. Yeah, I don't know. It's got a lot of issues, but I enjoy enough of it, and it's also like a genre of game that just like nobody makes. Risk of repeating myself for the umpteenth time. It's a lot like The Division in what I like about it, in that the world is really immersive. It's an open world, third-person shooter, survival game. Alrighty, and that pretty much covers it that people discuss about this game.
Well, all right, that was his take on it, which was pretty fair. I guess we should have watched. I wonder what Angry Joe said. I can't, but I might have to cover some more streamers tomorrow, guys, if I go live again, because it's late now and I got to go to bed. So unfortunately, I have to cut it here short right now. Man, but thanks for everybody that's on here tonight. Tannent, I'm gonna get on there. I'm going to follow, get that link and watch that video you're talking about. Lick it. Whoever you're talking about there. Was it this guy? Let me see here. Who's this you're talking about here? Yeah, so check out Force Gaming. I like that guy. He's got good videos on games, on all kinds of games. So he's good, pretty fair videos he usually has. Measles again. Speak for low. Anyways, guys, I got to go to bed. Appreciate you guys turning in tonight. Actually, this ended up going longer than I thought. I've only been going an hour and a half, but last night I went for a lot longer. But tonight I am feeling the time today. Okay, there it is. Lyric. Okay, I'll check that out. I'm definitely checking that out. Alrighty, everyone. With that being said, I might try to go live again tomorrow for like an hour tomorrow night, maybe. Cover another video, maybe. Like we just did. That's kind of fun. I should do this every night. Just do like an hour or so and cover like a different YouTuber's or streamer's coverage on the game. Yeah, I'll try to do what I can. But for sure, hey, this is the first week in a long time that I did Friday and Saturday. So hey, I stuck to my schedule, guys. I stuck to my schedule. So and of course, when the game comes out, it's gonna be a different story. But appreciate it, everyone. Stick around for to see. I'll put it in the Discord if I'm gonna go live tomorrow or not. But it might be kind of a family day. But until next time, folks, I will see you out on the desert. Thank you.
Sands of Arrakis, call my name. In your endless waves, I'll stake my claim. Destiny's thread weaves through time and space. Among the trials I now embrace. Try to root beneath the sands. Ancient power in your hands. Rivers dry where prophecies flow. In the darkness, let my courage show. Oceans buried deep within. Sands will swirl where life begins. Voices from the past will guide in the desert. Nowhere to hide. Empires rise and empires fall. In the spice I hear them call. Through betrayal and through faith I will carve my path. Embrace my fate. Sands of Arrakis, call my name. In your endless ways, I'll stake my claim. Destiny's thread weaves through time and space. Among the trials I now embrace. The trials I now embrace. Among the grace. Oh, sands of Arrakis, call my name. In your endless waves, I'll stake my claim. Destiny's thread weaves through time and space. Among the trials I now embrace. Oh, shine beneath the sands. Ancient power in your hands. Rivers dry where prophecies flow. In the darkness, let my courage show. Oh, oceans buried deep within. Sands will swirl where life begins. Voices from the past will guide in the desert. Nowhere to hide. Shine beneath the sands. Ancient power in your hands. Rivers dry where prophecies flow. In the darkness, let my courage show. In the desert, nowhere to hide.